right, hello. Thank you guys for taking some time out and having this interview with me. Let's do maybe like a small introduction. Everyone who would like to speak, you guys can introduce who you are, what team you guys play for, and like maybe like the different roles you guys play on the team.
Okay.
Do you want to go first?
Okay, I'll go first. Yeah. So, my name is Soko. I play for Eggshells. We're a D3 team, and I am a Zap One Trick. Yeah.
Uh, I'm Red, and I'm the backline player for Eggshells. I play leader, but I also play V Charger, and yeah, yeah.
Uh, I'm Yuma. I usually play. I'm like a frontline flex for Eggshells. I usually play V Shot, Splash, and T Tech. And yeah.
Right, yeah, thank you so much for a bit of the introduction. So, going into this event, you guys were assigned a team to coach. So, like, let's like hear a little bit about the team you coach. Maybe like if you heard of this team before you got assigned, or like what were some of the things you learned about this team as you were coaching them?
So we're coaching Cosmic Slushy, and um, we didn't, we hadn't ever like actually heard of them before. We were assigned them for this tournament, but uh, uh, I'm sorry, I'm like going see now. Can we restart?
No worries, go for it.
Um, oh, shit again.
Okay, so we got assigned Cosmic Slushy. We hadn't really heard of them before, before we got assigned them, but we were able to watch one scrim already. And from what we watched, they're really coordinated. Like one member could go in and like the other members of the team really play off it well, and so they're just like really they just have really good teamwork
Yeah,
from what we
yeah, like
watched.
their strong point was definitely their communication. Like I was honestly impressed. We didn't tell them this, but like we genuinely believed like they have better communication than we do. Funnily enough, and yeah, we were very impressed by what we saw.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, communication is key, I guess. uh, but like, were there any things that you guys saw, like any similarities? Maybe you guys have like similar personalities, or maybe like a common
They have a
hobby?
cookie run player. They have a cookie run player. Uh, I remember like we specifically asked like, could we be assigned a team that plays cookie run, and uh, we got a team with a person who plays cookie run, so that's awesome.
Yeah, for sure. I know there were some most of the teams we assigned were assigned with intent. Whether that's common, maybe like off meta picks that each team has, or similar interests, time zone, things like that. Uh, um I guess like going into the coaching aspect of this event, has anyone on the team like been a coach before, or is this the first time for anyone?
I'm
Um,
pretty sure that this is all our first time coaching a team, and so we came into this like pretty lost on what to do. Not gonna
yeah.
lie.
So so technically it wasn't my first time. I wouldn't say I'm a coach though. Like I tried coaching one of my friends' teams a while back.
Mhm.
Uh, I wouldn't say I'm experienced though. I don't know what I'm doing, but we're all learning as we go. So that's cool.
Yeah, for sure. I know like a lot of the teams like we brought in, like obviously the concept was higher level teams coaching lower level teams, right? But within the teams, there's like for the coaching teams, there's teams that like are super experienced with coaching, and then there's teams that were new to coaching, And then same thing with the lower level teams. There's some teams that were already coached looking for extra help, or teams that were like completely lost in terms of like, oh, I've never like thought of coaching or really. So it's like, I think it, like, for at least new time coaches, it was like a lot of them were lost, but at the same time, like, I hope you guys at least had fun with it, right?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, yeah. They're like a joy to be around. We had a lot of fun. We like hung out and played Cookie Run for a bit too.
Yes, that's the best part of it. I guess like in terms of what you guys did, like as players that are like new to coaching, like what type of approach did you have to take from like in terms of like maybe being less experienced with that coaching aspects? Were there things like taking a step back from like how you would talk to each other as teammates compared to like talking to the team that you were coaching?
So with our team, like the way we talk to each other, we like to mess around with each other a lot and just say we like if someone dies at like once in a game, we yell at them for feeding, but like it's playful.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not gonna do that with the team we coach, right? Because that they don't know that,
Mm-hmm.
and so like we just tried to be like a lot more friendly with them, and like bring out a lot of the positives instead of what we do, and like bring out negatives for like fun or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we definitely like focused on like what they did right.
Mhm.
So that they could strengthen that instead of like focusing on like any mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's easier to like, point out what you did wrong, and it's harder to, you know, think of what the right decision would have been. So, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Like you guys were building on things that they did well and like sort of like reinforcing like, okay, what did you do here? How like what went correct here, and like how you can like, I guess the word here is like, I guess, consistency. How do you like consistently play to that strength that they have? Um I guess like in terms of um I guess like to bring up an example, I know some of the newer coaches, something they noticed was like when coaching a lower level team, at least there's some things that like us as players who have played for a while or been at a higher level, there's like certain things that are very instinctual to us. And I know some of them were saying that they had to like sort of like think back instead of using instincts. Did you guys have any similar like feeling to that, or like any like moment when you were coaching them that you have to be like, oh yes, I need to like think backwards?
Um, when we were coaching them, they were like the scrim that they got, they were actually like kind of like destroying them, and so
Yeah,
like
they're pretty solid.
it was kind of difficult to point out like what one thing that they could have like that could have been wrong with them that we had to like think back ourselves on, because like they were playing like really really well,
Mhm.
and like we couldn't point out too many mistakes.
For sure. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with like, watching, like blowouts are not necessarily the best learning material, but it does, I guess like in terms of us as players, right, it's good reinforcement. And I guess it's like it helps build like what you guys talked about earlier. It builds onto what they were good at. And I guess like that's a each person has their way of like wanting to coach, either like how to approach the good games and the bad games um that players can have, teams can have. I guess like is from doing like a bit more coaching, or like doing even just getting into it, is this like something you guys think like would want to do more of? Maybe like it's like, hey, this isn't for me. It's like, did this like at least open a different perspective for you guys?
Um, I think it's something we definitely need more experience on.
Mhm.
Uh, we're not really sure, I guess, at the moment.
For sure. No worries. All right. I guess it's a lot tougher to ask you guys most of the coaching questions, but as like when you guys were helping them, and I think this is more of a general question, but it's like if you were to try to give some type of advice to low ink teams or new teams, like what's something you guys would want to like a piece of advice you would want to give them as they're growing and improving?
Um, I'd say that like the main piece of advice I would give is like special coordination is like the biggest thing in this game, especially with how strong some specials are. Like if you just pop your specials like one by one, like let's say you pop a cooler and then like 10 seconds later you pop a Zuka, that's not gonna do much as if like you pop the cooler and the Zuka at the same time and you can rush in with the cooler on the Zuka. Like it makes a lot more difference if like your specials are played together and like you need to focus on putting your specials together, not staggering them.
Mm-hmm.
I'd also like to add another thing. Um, your mental is like the number one thing, like even more so in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
If you're doubting yourself, you're just not going to play as well. If you're doubting your teammates, you're also not going to play as well. Um, basically, it's just if you don't trust yourself or your teammates, you're not going to go very far. And I don't know what I'm like where I'm going with this, but like,
Mm-hmm. No, I understand
yeah,
what you're trying to say. Yeah, it's like if your mentality is that you're gonna lose, you're never gonna really win, right? Is
not
that?
just that,
Mm-hmm.
but if if you're getting mad at yourself for losing, if you're saying we should have won that instead of admitting that there were mistakes that you made and that you can fix them,
Mm-hmm.
you're not going to improve because if you're like completely hard-headed and you're like we shouldn't have lost because they're not good,
Mm-hmm.
well they won for a reason. So if you don't look back on what you did wrong, you're not improving and you're just going to keep making the same mistakes again, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's like not. I guess like some players like they try to whether it's like turn a blind eye to like mistakes or they try to blame other things besides being like head forward and being like, okay, what went wrong here? What could I have done better? I know some people are like, oh, that it was just an off day, or like, oh, like, man, like, we should have won that, but like, it's whatever. But like, sometimes you do need to like, GG's go next. But sometimes it's also good to like think about like, what did they do well that I could have like um done better against. I'm not sure what I'm trying to get out of that
Yeah,
either,
no,
but yeah.
no, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I agree.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. I guess um don't want to take too much of your time, but the last question is more for like I guess a general question of this event and also just your thoughts of like what happens in the community, but do you think this type of event helps bridge a little bit of the gap between the different skill levels of the community? Like, something that I always hear every low ink is that like high level, mid level, or teams that just got banned from low ink are like, man, like this low ink's boring, or like, why would I watch low ink? Why like there's nothing for me to like watch. Who do I cheer for? Do you think this event sort of helps bridge that gap of like higher level looking down on low level and like I guess low level being able to get extra help and resources?
Yeah, definitely. I think like with lower level teams, sometimes they find it hard to build connections with higher level players, especially if they're entry level. You know, you don't really know anyone, you don't know who to like talk to, how to improve.
Mhm.
And I think this like event kind of just facilitates that connection building. And uh yeah, I think it's like just super awesome that this is a thing. Like personally, I feel like I didn't have very many like lower level teams to cheer for. Like, you know, now I have another one to cheer for, you know, go Cosmic Slushy.
Yeah, I feel like that's the same for me too, because like sorry. Like after I got out of low level, like eventually I ran out of teams who I knew. So like watching Lowinks was like it was fun because I got to watch the game, but like I didn't know who to cheer for because I knew like almost no one. And this like kind of event can show off some of the lower level teams and like show off how good they are and like just the team in general, how fun they can be. And so like it definitely does help bridge the gap.
Yeah, for sure. I know it's like um I guess uh wow. Red said it, but it's like you know, some of the low level teams they don't know who to go to or like where to ask for help. And sometimes they're like people a lot of people say it's like, oh, just DM people or like just ask people, but like, you know, that's extremely awkward if you don't know them.
Yeah, definitely. Like it's always awkward. Like I feel like sometimes like if you're lower level, it's like even harder to get practice with like higher level people. Sometimes they'll just like straight up ghost you or, you know, like cuz they don't know you. Like it's understandable.
Hmm.
But this event like, you know, again with like the connection building, it's very helpful.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the hope is to keep running these events. We will see where that goes, but hopefully tomorrow helps us sort of show off some of these teams after they got like some of these helps from coaches, and I'm sure a lot of new a lot of the new coaching teams, maybe this might be an interest for them in like getting into coaching.
I definitely can see it as that like sort of introduction that some people would want to take further because there's some people that like just enjoy like they enjoy playing the game, but like they might not have as much passion for it, and so like they might try out coaching, and that might be like really fun for them as opposed to playing the game, which they don't get as much enjoyment from. And I think that like this is an outlet to like start that, which I think is really really good.
Yeah, for sure. Again, thank you so much for you guys' time. I That's the last question I have, but do you guys have anything like else to say or like any other like advice you would want to give anyone?
I would
Um
say just be positive and don't yell at your teammates like
exactly,
we
yes.
do.
Yeah, thank you so much. Before I end this, where can people find Eggshell? Where can people find I guess you guys as well?
We have a Twitter account and we also have a Discord server. So, um our Twitter is so could you know our do you know your do you know our Twitter off the top of your head?
Yeah, it's
Just
just eggshells underscore SPL. We're
okay,
basic. I
okay,
know.
okay. Yeah, and our Discord server is linked there if you ever want to join and hang out. Hooray.
Yeah. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for your time and like doing this interview with me.
Yeah, thank you so much for having
Thank
us.
you for having us. Bye bye.